What's up, guys? We are back once again, and we are going to be doing another movie review on another one of my favorite comedy movies of all time. And of course, this does star Pauly Shore in the Army now. Now, again, I know anyone that obviously, if you're a big comedy guy like I am, you love older movies, you're going to be talking about Pauly Shore. You may be talking about In the Army now. Some people know this movie, other people may not know this movie. Now, this is obviously an older movie. It was made in the 90s, and this honestly does have a incredible cast in a lot of ways, but also at the same time, there's a lot of memorable quotes from this film. Now, this again stars Pauly Shore, Andy Dick, and a bunch more of this amazing cast. Also, Lori Petty, David Allen Grief, Isabel Morales, even Lynn Whitfield, and many more. So Pauly Shore plays Bones with his buddy Jack, who they work at a video store. They both get fired after some shenanigans, and then they have to find a way to get jobs. They meet these guys at a golf course. They're in the reserves. Like, oh, what is that? They don't know nothing about it. So they sign into the reserves to get medical money and enough to make their own store. That is the end goal, is to have their own store. Now, when they do this, they pretty much don't know what they sign up for, because they go into basic training and they go through pure hell. I mean, Pauly Shore, man. When they made their drill instructor, which she is a female, and it makes it more funny because, of course, Pauly Shore is flirting with her the entire time. Like, he's like, the first day he's like, hello, sweet pants. You know, he's just like flirting with her the entire time. She makes him do an ass load of push-ups. And so finally, they get through basic training somehow, some way. And then they meet two other friends of theirs by the name of Christine and Fred. They become friends. They decide to be water boys, which is basically trying to make unclean water to clean water. And they get sent to Chad for a war. And then what happens is they go through this journey of, unfortunately, getting their convoy attacked, and then they get lost, and they're trying to figure out a way to not only survive but also regroup with their convoy. And they unfortunately have no choice but to fight off the insurgents as well. And there's just a lot of fun moments in this film. Like, I think there's one moment where Jack gets so delusional with the heat, and he just starts running. He gets butt naked, and and Pauly Shore's trying to get him to come back to his senses. And then finally, he's like, "All right, let's do this. Let's go home. Let's finally get out of here." And he just makes this comedy. He's like, "Oh, Jack, look at that ass. Maybe there's shit stay naked. Get some sun on those cheeks." You know, it's just that classic '90s comedy feel of this film. I love this film. It's absolutely hilarious. It gets me in a good mood. It's tremendously funny, and it's a very lighthearted film. So if you guys have never seen In the Army now, give it a shot. It's a great film. It's very funny. Pauly Shore brings it like he always does. I think he did such a great job with this role. A lot of people, he says that a lot of people, and I've seen interviews with Pauly about this as well, that a lot of people were unsure about him doing this movie, and he was even unsure about doing this movie. You know, didn't do very well. And in all honesty, I don't care what anyone says. I love this movie. I think this is probably one of my favorite Pauly Shore movies of all time, and I love it. I can't say how much I love this movie. It's very funny. It's very lighthearted. Like, I'm probably repeating myself. There's a lot of memorable moments, like especially where, as he says, you know, riding the dune buggies, and then flirting with the sergeant drill instructor, and then shaving his classic hairdo off and all that kind of stuff, and having to cut potatoes, and having to meet all these different people, and then learning how life of the Army actually is. And I think at the time for this movie, it became probably like I wouldn't say it was making fun of the military, because I know some people say, "Oh, it was making fun of the military." When a lot of people that I met that have been in the military, they love this movie because it's funny, and they don't really poke fun at anything seriously. They just it was a fun filled movie, and I'm very happy that I saw this movie when I was growing up. Again, this was a early '90s film, and I'm glad that I grew up in the '90s and I got to see a great '90s film when I was a kid. And I remember watching this with my family. I remember watching this even as a teenager, and even watching it now as an adult. And it's always going to be a very childhood classic of mine. And I will definitely treasure this. So, thank you to Pauly Shore thank you to everyone for bringing such a great film to life, and having a great comedic feel of different things that you may run into being in the military, that you gotta take so serious, and you gotta make a little bit of fun of, and try to have fun with it, and try to roll with it, and make it to the best of your abilities, and not take everything so seriously, and then at the same time be able to poke fun at certain things you can poke fun at, and things you can't, and then also just make a joke out of a lot of stuff that you know is going to be funny. Like, I think there's one scene where the drill instructor is telling him, she says, pull the pin and then pull the pin and then throw the grenade, pull the pin, throw the grenade, and he does the exact opposite, and she has no choice but to save him. And he's like, you saved my life, I owe you one. She's like, no, you owe me 50. And that's when he just starts giving more push-ups. Like, again, there's so much comedy in this that I really don't see how anyone cannot laugh through this film. So definitely give this a shot if you've never seen it. Check out In the Army Now with Pauly Shore. It is on DVD. It's on other viewing networks. I think you can watch it on Amazon Prime, and among many others. So, guys, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I'm going to be doing more older movies. I like doing older movies because, again, it gets to go more in my childhood of different movies that I grew up watching. So let me know what you guys thought about it. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.